Welcome along. Cara Banks alongside Brandel Chambly and Billy Kratzer. We enjoyed watching golf this afternoon, prime time this evening, in fact. What were the most impressive shots you saw today?
Well, we talked yesterday about how well Collin Morikawa was hitting his iron shots. Billy, we got to see some of them today, and there were...
So he finds himself in a tie for third. Wasn't quite the day he had yesterday. Obviously followed up the 65 with the 70 today. First time, though, he has been in the top five through 36 holes of a stroke play PGA Tour event. He seems, though, to have a mature head on his shoulders, would you say? Very.
As a matter of fact, he didn't mention once in his interview that they got the short end of the stick, those players that teed off early yesterday, late today. There are 10 players as we speak, tied for third or better. 10. 9 of them went late early. That'll tell you how much of a disadvantage it was being in his wave, but great ball striking. It wasn't spectacular on the greens, but really nobody was, because it was just that difficult to make any putts.
Yeah, you look at Morikawa and you look at Rory Sabatini. Those are the only two players that actually, in this wave, actually played well and are within a shot of the lead. But when you look at what Collin Morikawa did, so far as the ball striking and the putting, and you start breaking it down, proximity to the hole, I mean, that's fabulous. And Brandel, you looked it up. I mean, 38 feet 3 inches
is the field average.
Is the average, and so 11 feet better than that. But then strokes gained a putt approach. Right there, putts inside 10 feet, but the one that sticks out the most to me is that bottom line. Putting outside 10 feet, 1 of 22. So here's a young man, one shot out of the lead, and he's doing it with ball striking. You don't see that very often.
And managing to hold off the incredible wins we've been seeing across Honolulu the last couple of days. Let's get his reaction then to a second round 70.
Yeah, it was just a really mediocre day, and obviously I wish I was going to, take a big lead into today, but, that's golf. We've got 2 more days. Game feels good. Just got to figure out the driver a little bit and go from there.
Driver the biggest key to kind of fixing some things over the weekend?
Yeah, I mean, the irons feel really good. I had some right to left wind shots with my irons that just, I kind of pulled left and can't do that out here. So other than that, just got to make a few more putts. The putt I made on 17 was probably my longest putt all week, but it feels really good. I feel good for the weekend.
This is a 72-hole tournament. You have to jostle for position. He's done that. Tomorrow is moving day. What do you expect from him over the weekend, given his experience so
Well, first
far?
thing, this golf course has been pretty darn kind to leaders. Going back 13 years, almost half of the 36-hole leaders have gone through and punched it to a victory. There's been a couple of guys pretty far back, but they shot spectacular golf on the weekend. 65-62, I believe, is what Gomez shot just a few years ago when he was in 16th place. So you start to look at Collin Morikawa. For whatever reason, he's in a bit of a funk on the weekends. He has yet to break 70 in the final round of any tournament that he's played in this wraparound 2019-2020 season. Bit of a funk. I don't know that there's anything there other than the fact that it just hadn't added up. But given the fact that the weather's going to be so tough over the next couple of days, Billy, he does something at the top of his golf swing that you think helps him flight shots through the wind.
Oh, absolutely. When you look at his left wrist, the bowed position to where he's able to stabilize the face at impact, to where there's no twisting, stabilizing it, continue on. That's why he's number 1 in proximity to the hole. I mean, he can flight the irons, and when you have to take it upstairs, medium, and downstairs, I mean, he's the best in the field this week.
He was the only player in the field to go bogey-free yesterday. He did have 3 bogeys on his card, though, today. He is, nevertheless, very much in the hunt. Someone who isn't in the hunt and indeed won't be teeing it up at the weekend is last week's champion, Justin Thomas, who was a favourite for many entering this week, given what he did 3 years ago, going back-to-back in Hawaii. Yeah, 72-71. Unfortunately, didn't cut it for him. Take a look at the worst results he's had in the first event, teeing up after a victory, which is what he did this week. Well, he missed the cut in Phoenix after he won here at the Waialae Country Club 3 years ago. But otherwise, he's always made it to the weekend. Never stellar performances, though. This will be another miscut to add to that list. And he gave his reaction to our Todd Lewis.
Didn't execute. I mean, it's really, really tough out there, but I played fine. I played plenty good enough to be at 4 or 5 under and right in contention, but I mean, I missed about every putt. I think honestly, playing this course as often as I have in the past hurt me this year because it's just so weird. The greens being as soft as they are, especially out of the rough. When the ball flies as much as it does, so much topspin, it's still coming back. So sometimes you have to get adjusted to that. But I mean, everybody has to. It's not just me. So it just was a rough couple days.
You leave Waialae with any concern about your game, or are you okay?
No, none at all. I'm playing great. I'm playing plenty good enough to still be winning this week. I just I probably was a little exhausted from last week, which is a good thing. But I played like crap, so I deserve to have a weekend off.
Honesty.
He's a little harsh on himself. He did not play like crap. He just putted like crap. I mean, if you take a look, donuts are pretty good on Sunday morning. They're not good Thursday, Friday.
Say how you really feel, Brian.
Well, he said it. I'm just using his words. I mean, when you look 10 to 15 feet, that's where you hit your good iron shots, right? I mean, your wedges. He was 0 for 7, and then 0 for 4 from 15 to 20 feet, 0 for just the one putt. He didn't make anything. He said it. It was great analysis. He missed 7 times from inside of 10 feet, and it just didn't fall his way.
Yeah, nothing fell his way. But and when you think about it, how many tournaments do we do to where we see a lead and we see players within 10 shots of the lead, 11 shots in the lead, and then all of a sudden on Sunday they have a chance to win the golf tournament? He's 9 shots back. He doesn't have a chance because he's going home. Mm-hmm. Right. Now, a little bit that's due to the fact that the cut's 65 and ties now, but
true.
Still, 9 shots of the lead, to go home, that is so disappointing, especially for a player like JT.
Right, he's got 62, 63 in him.
Absolutely.
Right. Here's a question. We alluded to this in pregame, and that's kind of Justin Thomas's volatile nature that we saw a few years ago. When it comes to missed cuts, he can be so successful and then all of a sudden isn't playing the weekend. He's been very vocal about that, wanting to improve that part of his game and be more consistent. Do you take any concern from the fact that he's missed another one?
Yeah, good question. No, don't. In fact, he, believe it or not, misses about 20% of his cuts. 1 out of every 5 times he tees it up.
Does that bother you?
No, because he wins prolifically. He wins prolifically. It's amazing. But when he's a little off, he doesn't have the brilliance on the green to sort of save himself the way Phil Mickelson did, the way Tiger Woods did. He gets a little, your word was wooden yesterday. He's a little wooden on the greens. It is, by far the weakest part of his game. So when he's a little off, as he was here the first couple of days, understandably forced by the weather, he wasn't able to sort of grind it out with some great putting.
Were you surprised, though, Billy, given the fact that he did deal with wind last week in Kapalua?
Well, 2 different golf courses, but he came into the week understanding that it was going to be more difficult with those same amount of winds that they had. Even though it's a flatter golf course, you had to deal with more of the rough, and if you didn't drive it well, you were going to struggle trying to get the ball on the green. But, I agree with Brandel. You look at his year, and you look at the missed cuts. Look at Rory McIlroy last year, the most consistent year that he's had since he's been on the PGA Tour. And I think that's what kind of separated him from the rest of the field, and the reason he's Player of the Year, winning the Players, yes. And I think that's what these guys strive for. And I think that's one of those goals. We often see Justin Thomas make that list of goals. I think that is going to be in the top 3.
It is one of them. He's vocalized it before. So does it bother you slightly that he has an affinity to missing cuts, perhaps more than some of the other top players?
I don't know if it bothers me, but I like the fact that he understands that he needs to be more consistent.
Okay. Well, we'll see how that translates as 2020 continues. So far, a win and a missed cut. You can't get 2 more opposite ends of the spectrum for Justin Thomas.